about global carbon taxes and 401ks and the banks, and this story's about it. And I mean, it's literally all propaganda. And then I randomly pick up other magazines. It used to be drug ads in these things, and there's still a few of those, but now it's, here's Lipitor, there's one there, but mainly it's we need a global carbon tax and to control everybody, and this says don't read the food packages, just look at the rating game. This is about Harry Potter having sex with topless dancers, very strange. Here's another one about global markets. Here's another one about a car company and how we need global carbon taxes and controls. Here's another one for global carbon taxes and controls. Here's another one. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Here's another one about essentials to reuse recyclable materials. And again, it's a total cult brainwashing, and car companies bragging about how they're doing this, and just on and on and on and on. And Dow Chemical with propaganda about the environment. I mean, notice this is the only advertising. There's no more money left. It's all just the robber barons raping everybody. And look at this one. Then it says, do we want to chemtrail everybody? That shows a blimp spraying chemicals because they say, oh, the earth is dying from carbon dioxide that plants breathe. But do we want to let the secret chemtrailing program go on? Moving heaven and earth. And then I got the Wall Street Journal saying we need global chemtrailing and that it's already going on. I mean, we're living in the twilight. Folks, I'm not even halfway through the magazine, and Tarpley's on hold, and I want to get his take on a whole bunch of stuff as well. But here's another one. And then they've got one in here about how marrying is bad. And then better luck this time, another article about the green economy. I mean, that's all. Folks, this is a random magazine. It's just total brainwashing. This is worse than 1984. I mean, are people not insulted by being immersed in stuff like this, being immersed in total propaganda, total brainwashing? Here's another one about the power grid and the takeover. Here's another one about the environment. Here's another bank advertisement. Here's one about Daredevil. William F. Buckley, admitted CIA, fake conservative, sent in to destroy the conservative movement. Show this slime bag how great he is. It's just all unbelievable crap. And I'm trying to find the one about how marriage isn't good. Get rid of it. I mean, these people literally are waging war on reality. And they are genocidalists. They are psychopathic control freaks. They are complete scum. I'm trying to find the one saying get rid of marriage. I'll find it while Webster's talking. But Webster, here's the last ad. Another one with Shell. In the new energy future, we'll need to think around corners. And then it says the global population and what Shell wants to do to take care of it. I mean, these people mean business, Webster. What does it mean? Because I've since looked at other magazines when it's almost a complete conversion. No more drug company ads. Now it's just direct banking and oil company propaganda.
Well, you got to remember that the Atlantic Monthly is the house organ of the left oligarchy. I call them the left-ogarchs. This is the Boston and Connecticut insurance mutual fund. It's kind of a second Wall Street that you have up there in New England. So this extreme, multicultural, politically correct, and what they're expressing is their class consciousness. In other words, what seems to me to be worth underlining is the hysteria of all of this, the desperation, the lunacy of it all, right? It's like an amazing
these people
spectacle.
Need to be in insane asylums. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, they say get rid of the frickin' family openly. They're waging war on the species.
Right. What you learn from this is that the U.S. ruling elite is terminally decadent. You can choose between keeping that ruling elite and having the country go down. If they remain in power with the kinds of values they have, and Obama is, of course, their creature, Obama finds this very congenial. These are his ego ideals, right? The Yale Law School and Columbia and all the rest of this. This is the territory of the Atlantic Monthly, and they were big supporters. Andrew Sullivan is one of the guys who said, if we can only get Obama in, then we can go back to false flag, because people will believe him where they wouldn't believe
Webster,
Bush.
isn't it strange fate that I said, I'm going to randomly walk across Barnes & Noble, close my eyes 10 feet away, walk up and randomly grab 2 magazines. This is one of them. The other one's a women's magazine I haven't been able to read yet. But the first page was Get Rid of Your Man. And it's the same message in here. I guess they want to destroy the family because anything that's cohesive, anything that stands upright away from them must be destroyed because we've all got to cling to their skirts. I mean, what is...
Again, this is their class consciousness. And what they would say is, this is the ruling class that hates the blue collar and middle class. So what they're saying is that we don't like middle class values or working class values because we're this cosmopolitan, polymorphous, perverse mass of creatures, right? And therefore we don't like your Victorian morality, right? This is also Soros, right? He wants to legalize drugs, right? He wants to bring in massive narcotics, make it available everywhere. And there's a big campaign. If you look at MSNBC, they're actively campaigning for drug legalization, which would be one of the main tools that they would use to destroy the family. Any parent knows that anybody coming on the scene saying, I want to legalize drugs is your deadly enemy, right? That's the middle class fighting for its existence against this hysterical oligarchy.
Well, Tarpley, let me stop you there, and I'm not going to interrupt much more, but I'm for decriminalization because we know they use it to launder the money and then put people in prison. I'm not for legalization, and you're right. And I've seen the university papers about how they want to drug the public. That's what the Prozac and Ritalin is. And I understand the Soros angle is he loves it for that. But can't you see that they're also using the phony drug war as another pretext of control?
But there's no drug war. The CIA brings the drugs and Wall Street launders the money. And if you're going to capitulate to the CIA and Wall Street, that's the end of it.
Oh, you think now they want to legalize it and directly sell it to us?
Of course.
And then maybe make kids take it in their lunch boxes or something.
Yes, they want the American people to be more stupefied than they are. They say, you're not stupefied enough. You got to be more inert, more apathetic, more dumbed down. And the next wave is we're going to say that marijuana is cool and we're going to ram that down your throats.
Well, look at Afghanistan, and I'm sure you've seen this, but now the BBC admits, I heard this a month ago in my car and almost fell over, so I've told the story every day since. And they said, the army does guard the poppy fields now, so the local farmers have some money, and so the Taliban can't rough them up. When the Taliban's been given different sectors, works for the government as a client, as you've documented, and they admit it's up like 9-fold what it was, and local news says here in Austin we're neck deep, swimming in heroin. I mean, they're openly shipping it in now and saying it's for America's security.
Yeah, these are the last days of Pompeii. What I would say is, the kind of stuff you're seeing with that sort of eco-fascism in the Atlantic Monthly, that is a ruling class that sees the British Isles are sinking into the North Sea under the weight of trillions and trillions of derivatives, and the U.S. is collapsing at a breathtaking rate. So the Anglo-American ruling class collectively says, we are doomed. If they were religious, they would express this with the idea that the end of the world is at hand, because for them, it seems to be. Now, they're obviously neo-pagan, so they express it in this stuff, the polar bears are dying, and the seas are rising, and all the rest of it. But even there, notice, British Petroleum, you're not going to find any more British Petroleum green ads, because they've quit it. That's the news from yesterday. They're not going to be Beyond Petroleum anymore. They're going to be, we're an oil and gas company, and that's who we are, and we're giving up this whole idiotic garbage of Beyond Petroleum. So
now, this is the good news. You're saying you believe they're stalling, and they did announce yesterday we're not going to bring the carbon tax vote up for 2 months in the Senate, but I think that could be a fast one. But you're saying from your antennae, your feelers out there, that you're saying you believe this was all this over propaganda, this over energetic propaganda everywhere was actually a death rattle, a fit as the New World Order sits in its crap-filled diapers?
There is no plan. In other words, these are a bunch of pragmatists who they go from one thing to another. But the idea is that if you look at the situation, I think in the Congress, it's going to be hard to pass this. If you look at the world situation, that's really the news of today, was the last day of the World Economic Summit, the Group of 8 in L'Aquila, presided over by Berlusconi. Obama's task, Obama was the chairman of this expanded group of 8, where they brought in Brazil, they brought in some other third world countries, developing countries, and they said, okay, now you're going to join in on some kind of a cap and trade or carbon emissions limits. We're going to impose our carbon offsets and permits on you. And Lula, of all people, the International Monetary Fund puppet Lula of Brazil, says, no, we're not going to do it. And also India says no, and China says no. So this is a good case where the third world
But they've still got us to rape, and we're the,
Yeah, but this is a big defeat. In other words, this was what they wanted to do, is to say, how do we strangle the economic development of China and India and Brazil? How do we, because these are the BRIC, right? You put in Russia, that's the BRIC, the BRIC group.